Hey, Disney cruisers, and welcome back to the DCL community, where we are here to help you plan, prepare for, and get excited for your Disney cruise. You guys know me, I'm Rebecca, your host and admin of the DCL community. And today we are talking all about those Disney cruises that are just going one way. They're starting in one place and ending up somewhere different. I'm excited because these are pretty rare for Disney Cruise Line. It's not something that they do often, like some other cruise lines might do. So I'm excited to learn a little bit more. As people are coming in, Crissi, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me. I'm Crissi O'Kane. I own Triton Travel, an agency specializing in family and luxury cruising. And I'm thrilled to chat about these sailings because they come up in my requests a lot. There are some that are just like people's bucket list sailing, and then some that are just like, hey, that looks like a deal. I want to learn more. So I'm super excited to chat through all the logistics and what you really need to know, and also what's fact and what's a little bit fiction.
Oh my gosh, yes, there's so many rumors floating around. And if you are ready to plan your Disney cruise, please reach out to Crissi. She is here to help. Her planning services are complimentary, so she can help you choose exactly what cruise, what stateroom, what itinerary, what everything is going to work best for your family. Let's go ahead and dive in. If you have any questions, feel free to put those in the comments and we'll do our best to get to them. But let's go ahead and dive into the first thing that people should consider here.
Yeah, so the first thing is a lot of people just assume these are all really long sailings, and that is like super false. You see that a lot with other cruise lines that they have such a big fleet that the majority of these one-way cruises are all to like move ships around. So you see all the transatlantics and the transpacifics, but Disney Cruise Line offers a lot of shorter ones. The Pacific Coast sailing, the Vancouver to San Diego, is very, very popular. There's a lot of sailings. They're only 4 nights long, and you just cruise down the coast, start in Vancouver, end in San Diego, or start in San Diego and end in Vancouver. And then there's also Fort Lauderdale to San Juan, and then San Juan to Port Canaveral. And these are short sailings as well. And these are really just a fantastic way to get to experience San Juan without needing to like spend a ton of time there. You get to really experience like the heart of the city, try some delicious Puerto Rican food, and then get on your favorite cruise ship that's already familiar. However, there are long options. We can't pretend the Transatlantic or Panama Canal or Hawaii when it's offered. When it's offered, Disney does not have a ship that is flagged in Hawaii. So that sailing is Vancouver to Hawaii or Hawaii to Vancouver. So they are generally very long, 10 plus nights, usually more like 12 to 14 nights.
Yes. I love the idea of having some of these shorter sailings too, because it really gives you that chance. One thing that people complain about with cruising is I want to get to know a place. And this gives you
Yeah.
that chance to really get to know San Juan and then get on board that Disney cruise ship or
Yeah.
vice versa. I
And
love
same thing
that.
with Vancouver too. So, Vancouver is known as the Alaska Gateway, but it is also the gateway for these Pacific Coast sailings.
Love that. And what about the port days? Is it true that there's
Yeah.
zero stops? You're just on the ship the entire time?
So false. So technically, the Pacific Coast itineraries do not have port stops. Technically, it does have an embarkation day, so like they consider Vancouver a port stop, but like not really. And then San Diego a port stop, but again, like not really. You're getting on the ship or you're getting off the ship at either of those ports. But all of the other sailings do have stops intermittently. I love the San Juan sailings because they visit both private islands before San Juan, or you start in San Juan, visit both private islands, and then end at Port Canaveral. So these are really awesome sailings for those like Disney fans that just want something different, right? You have that opportunity to spend a few days in Puerto Rico and then get on your ship and you still get to do both of those private islands. The transatlantic sailings do stop in Portugal and Spain and before disembarking. So you have usually like 7 solid days at sea. And then you have 2 port stops before you disembark in Barcelona. And the Panama Canal sailings actually have more stops, and they stop in Mexico and Colombia, which is very exciting.
Love that. And does it make sense to book flights with Disney for these cruises, or should you book them on your own?
Great question. So with the flights, personally, I think that might be coming up later, but with the flights, a lot of people think that's part of what makes these sailings really complicated. And personally, I think these sailings have such an advantage because since you're not booking a round trip flight, you're booking an open gap or open jaw flight. You can do that with one airline, or you can book 2 separate one-way flights, and that gives you all the options for airlines in both directions. It might be like I'm flying American to Port Canaveral, and then to fly back, I'm flying Delta. And that just really makes the trip much smoother. I can have the perfect ideal times. If you book your flights through Disney, you do have some different payment options depending on what Disney has available. And the biggest benefit is being able to add your flight. If they have the flexible fare flights available, you can add that flight cost into the cost of your cruise. Your flight is now fully refundable until your cruise final payment. So it just gives you more flexibility, but you generally do pay a premium for that. I do find that Disney really only has a pricing advantage when you are looking at transatlantic flights, not the transatlantic cruise, but if you're looking for a transatlantic flight, you will generally find that Disney does have a better price point than what you can find just competitively in the open market.
Ooh.
But if you're looking for a flight from like, anywhere in the US to Orlando or Fort Lauderdale or Miami, you're not really going to find a big price advantage booking with Disney versus just booking directly through the airline.
Got it. Okay. That is awesome to know, especially for those. The flights definitely trip people up. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. And speaking of complicated,
Yeah.
in the words of Avril
So
Lavigne, why'd you have to be so complicated? They're not.
why? They're not that complicated. Yeah. So don't be a goof. These sailings are not more complicated. They're just different structure, right? So when you're sailing round trip out of Port Canaveral or Fort Lauderdale, you still need a flight both directions. You still need a hotel the night before. You still have to figure out what to pack because the weather could be variable, right? Especially like where I live, when we like to cruise in the winter, it's winter here. So I arrive at the airport in like 10-degree clothing, but then I go to where it's warm. So I need to have, when I get off the plane, it's warm. And then when I come home, I need to make sure that I have a warm outfit to change into for my cruise, right? So it's the same, you guys. It's the same. Okay, if you have the ability to drive to a cruise, then it's different. That's easier. Then maybe this is more complicated because you really can't drive on these cruises, right? There's no way to do it. Maybe you could rent a car for the route back or something, but it doesn't really make sense. So you do have to fly, but if you're already flying anyway, these cruises are not more complicated. You just have more options. And I do think that that really lends itself to more value by adding a land component before or after. Even like, it doesn't need to be a full vacation. Just 2 nights is a really great way to explore either San Juan or Vancouver or even Barcelona.
Yes, there's so much opportunity in these amazing port cities, and people just see it as a passway, but there is so much to do. And I know that someone out there right now is watching, they're like, yeah, but if I do one of these cruises, then I have to get a passport. So how would you respond to that?
Yes, so technically, yes. So you will need a passport because these cruises do require passports for United States citizens. A passport is $165 right now. You do need to just include that in the cost of your cruise. But I will tell you that the process has never been easier and faster to get a passport. That's not a political thing. It's just a fact of checking the turnaround times. It is incredible. Some of my clients, without expediting, are getting them in just over a week, in 8 days. 8 days, not 8 business days, 8 calendar days without expediting. Now, granted, that's just their experience. Even during the government shutdown that happened just a little while ago, last month, the passport office was still open. So truly, there's never been a better time to get a passport. If you are considering international travel, do it. Have it ready. Go anywhere you want.
Yes.
Well, not quite anywhere you want,
yes.
but
And they last for so
almost.
long. So
10 years. So, yeah, be good. So these sailings are hard to book. That's another myth. And this is very like yes and no. So some of them are hard because they are limited offerings. So that Panama Canal, there's an eastbound and a westbound once a year, kind of not really once a year, kind of like once like every like year and a half when they move a ship, right? So it's not like it's a very popular itinerary, but it's not popularly offered. And because of that, it will go very fast. It's also just in the cruising world, it's a lot of people's bucket list cruise. On every cruise line, people love to cruise the Panama Canal because if you think about it, it's kind of like cruising Alaska, where there's very few days that are just open ocean. So when you're cruising, it's almost always scenic cruising throughout the entire cruise. And that is just something really special. And then you have the architectural wonder of going through the locks. And that's just really, really neat. So, so that one will fill very, very quickly. Like it probably already getting full on Pearl Day. It's probably happening right now as we talk. All those Pearl sailors are booking right now. But and apologies, when I made this presentation, we didn't have the booking dates, so these are from last summer. But If you work with an agent, I check those sailings all the time, and I've always been able to find my sailors a spot. A lot of times, rooms will open closer to final payment when people start realizing that maybe this isn't going to work out for my family, and I need to cancel before that refund deadline. So always work with a good agent that knows this is important to you. If we can't get you a room now, I will be consistently checking for you, and I will have everything I need to just put it on hold for you right away if something opens up. But
Yes.
the other ones, the San Juan sailings, still have spots. The Pacific coasts, like so many spots, do not fill at all. The Transatlantic also don't fill as fast. They will fill, but they don't fill right away during those early booking windows. They're just, I think, a little bit harder for families to commit to. Versus the Panama Canal lends itself to a lot of travelers that are empty nesters. So those fill very quickly.
Yes, that's definitely bucket list for me. And can
Mhm.
you talk a little bit about the on hold process that you mentioned with
Sure.
staterooms? Because I feel like there's so much panic when the new itineraries drop and everything's
Yes.
gone and the rooms are so can you just talk through that?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you asked. So the process for booking with Disney Cruise Line is that when you are booking a sailing that is at least 90 days out if it's a shorter sailing or 120 days out if it's a longer sailing, you have the ability to put a 3-day hold on your room before the deposit is due. And the deposit is going to be 10% unless you're using a placeholder on a longer sailing and then it's reduced. The deposits used to be 20%, so it's really nice to have that lower reduced deposit all the time. So that means that if you are thinking about it, but not sure if you want to secure that room, you can have your room and your rate secured for 3 days without any money down. And so working with a good agent, I will have all of the information that I need. It's not a whole ton. You don't need to give me your whole life story, just your name and date of birth of everybody's sailing and the preferred stateroom type. And I will get the best possible room on hold for you as soon as they're available. And I'll check frequently. So if you're like, I really want Panama Canal, but there's nothing available, no problem. I got you. I'll check regularly. And then you'll get a happy email. Hey, I have your room on hold. Here's the price point. We have 3 days before that deposit of 10% is due. Let's chat through all the details and decide if it's something that we want to keep. And if we don't want to keep it, we can cancel the hold if we really want to, but it'll also just kind of like evaporate and go after
Yes.
3 days. So when you're looking at these early booking windows, right now, Pearl guests can be booking 2027 summer itineraries that just released. And so those rooms are being on hold right now or deposited, but the guest doesn't have to do the deposit. And then their hold will expire in 3 days, so on the 19th. And so if they, on the 20th, you'll see rooms pop up that were on hold previously, but that hold has now expired.
Yes. And Sammy is asking if you really have to book cruises this week. I've heard that things sell out, but I just feel like I want to wait.
Yeah, so it, like I said, certain sailings will sell out. So we'll
Yeah.
see those Panama Canal. We'll probably see that sell out. We'll see, what's it called? The double stop. What are we calling that, Rebecca?
The
The
double
double dip.
dip.
The
Yes.
double dip, the castaway, will possibly sell out. 10 nights, those will sell out just because they're so limited.
Yes.
But the big thing, in addition to cruises selling out, that's honestly, if you're looking at like a 7-night Eastern Western Caribbean and you're flexible on dates, you got so many options. Don't stress about it selling out. That's not the concern. The concern is price point increasing. And we will see that even just this week, we will see that, right? We'll see Disney really testing the waters. They use dynamic pricing. So as the sailing gets more and more interest, you'll see the pricing increase. So having that hold now secures today's pricing versus tomorrow's or later in the week's pricing. So you'll see that you'll put your room on hold today or tomorrow or later next week if you're a first-time sailor. And when your hold expires, if you check the price of your room, well, you can't check your room because it's already on hold, but if you check like the room next door to you, it's probably already increased before your hold has even expired. So it
Yes.
is really beneficial if you know the sailing you want to go ahead and put it on hold now, and try to secure it with that 10% deposit. It's fully refundable if it doesn't work out, or if you want to
Yes.
transfer it to a different date. But you'll secure today's pricing, and that's the bigger benefit. And it's not that concerned about selling out as much as it is about securing pricing.
Yes, the pricing, I'm telling you, somebody just messaged me yesterday and said that they had a hold on a cruise. They forgot about the hold and to make the payment, and the price went
Mm,
up in just those 3 days,
yeah,
$1,000 on the
it's
Panama
so
Canal
common.
cruise.
Yeah.
Yes. And Becky is asking the dates of the Panama Canal cruise. I know it depends on which one.
Yeah, it depends on
Um,
which one. And you know what's
yeah,
funny is I've literally had it pulled up earlier, and let me grab it. Let me grab it
yeah.
1 second.
And Becky, if you want to know anything about, so pricing was just released today for
Just
Pearl
today,
sailors.
yes.
So Crissi can give you an idea. I would reach out to
Hmm.
her, start planning, see what you can lock in because that one will sell out. And
All right, so the 2026 ones are already available for all guests to book, and that is April 5th through the 19th, westbound, or November 6th through the 20th is the eastbound. The 2027 is the one that has, been, it is like coming soon, and that one is April 25th through May 9th
love it.
of
Okay.
2027. On the Magic,
Amazing. Yeah, the
they're
best.
all on the
Love
Magic.
her.
It's
Love
the
her.
Magic that's doing
Becky, it
Panama
sounds like you
Canal.
got a good cruise to book.
Yeah, so reach out, Becky. I'd
Oh,
love to help
as she should.
to
She's
get you
just
on board.
nice. Yes. And what about, are these sales really as good of a deal? Are they really cost
Yeah.
efficient?
Okay, so I pulled up the 14 nights, and these are actually the 2026 ones. So they're, that's why we could already see pricing. And so pricing has already increased on these a little bit since they were first released. Um, and there is
Ooh.
just no other 14 nights. There's no other sailing that you can sail for under $200 per person per night, like for a party of two. Now, if you're a party of four, the third and the fourth guest, they're discounted. So the average might be lower. But when you sail as a party of two, you can generally expect to be paying 250 to 300 per night. And that's for like an interior room. So really, these are generally the best deal that you'll find. Now, if there was another 14 night that was just round trip out of Florida, it might be offered at a competitive price point. Because generally the reason why these are lower price per night is because they are so long. When you're looking at those 4 night sailings, the Vancouver to San Diego, they're the same price as the regular 4 nights. But for some reason, those San Juan sailings are not. Those San Juan sailings are truly a really good deal. So when you're working with an agent and you're really just looking for the best deal on board, let me know and I'll find you. I've always got a list of sailings that I think are offered at a great price point. And if you want the best deal on Disney Cruise Line, the secret is to be flexible on dates. The ship's doing
Yeah.
the same itinerary pretty much all year round, with the exception of those special ones that are only offered once or twice a year. So if you can be flexible on dates, you're going to be able to find a great sailing at a great price.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good point. Learning how to budget with, kids, of course, the vacation, like there's so many factors here, and Crissi can help you navigate all of those pieces. And we have a question, how can you join the club to access prices early for the
Hmm.
itinerary release?
So the Castaway Club, it's honestly like the easiest loyalty program of any cruise line in the industry. You don't officially join. You are automatically enrolled when you sail on Disney Cruise Line. So it's when you book your very first cruise, you're already in the club, actually. You're considered a first-time sailor. And then after you complete that cruise, you are now a silver sailor automatically. You didn't have to do anything. You just had to sail. That's it. So you don't have to enroll or anything. You just need to sail on Disney Cruise Line. Now, if you have sailed on Disney Cruise Line and you don't know your login information to the website, or you don't know your Castaway Club number, which is in your email correspondence, or it's usually on your booking confirmation, you can call Disney Cruise Line and they can try to look it up for you. Or if you're one of my clients, reach out to me and I'll get it to you right away.
Yes, yeah, I love some of the perks that get added, and of course, the more you sail, the earlier you can book some of these itineraries. So that's why Pearl's able to access today. And if you want to know when you can specifically get into yours, Crissi's got that full calendar, so definitely reach out to her. And then bonus slide.
Bonus. Yeah, so this is just kind of a little side piece that in the industry, Disney calls these one-way cruising. And that is what they are. And you'll see a lot of guests referring to them as repositioning because that's the general cruise industry term. But Disney really doesn't actually offer a repositioning cruise. Repositioning is the idea that we need to move the ship from here to there because that's what it's doing. It's doing like summer in Europe and then it's doing the fall in the Caribbean, right? So we need to do a transatlantic. And Disney does have that. Really, only the Transatlantic is a repositioning sailing. All of the other one-way sailings are because Disney has determined that this is a wonderful itinerary for their guests to experience. And you see really, really good reviews about that Pacific Coast itinerary. Guests really love it. It's beautiful, and it's a great amount of time on the ship. And then you also see great reviews about these San Juans. They just started last year to Fort Lauderdale. So this is only the second year that we've seen these one-way to San Juan sailings. And they are just a lot of fun, and guests really like them. So, and then that Vancouver to Hawaii, it's not currently offered right now, but I'm sure it'll come back because it almost always sold out immediately. So I'm sure as the fleet grows, that'll be reintroduced as well. One of the most popular sailings that Disney has. But when guests refer to these as repositioning, that is a bit inaccurate because the ship didn't need to do this, right? A lot of times you see the ship doing Vancouver to Hawaii, then Hawaii back to Vancouver. So it's not like the ship needed to go somewhere. This was just a route that Disney thought its guests would enjoy. But there are actually cruise lines that specialize in this. So this is the Cunard Queen Mary 2, and it sails out of New York. And all it does is transatlantic. That's all it does, back and forth. And it honestly looks like a Disney cruise line ship. You can look at it. A lot of my clients really like it. And it's the world's only true ocean liner because it is purpose-built for the Atlantic. So weather is not an issue. These could be rocky, and this ship has no problem. It's extra stabilizers, and it has legendary white glove service at all times. So it's a great option for Disney cruisers that are looking for a transatlantic, but the specific dates with Disney to cruise line don't work out for you. This is also, fun fact, I didn't include a picture, I really should have, but this is the best way to transport your pets if you are considering moving cross country. They do have a kennel on board, and it is like 5-star luxury Ritz-Carlton hotel for your little doggy. They have their own little dog walker with their own little uniform, and you see the dogs walking, and you can go visit them, and they have like a little play area and like all this stuff. So anyway, so the kennels on board Cunard Queen Mary 2 are like one of my favorite little known facts about the fleet, and such a better experience than trying to fly your dog in a plane across the ocean.
Oh my gosh, yes. And especially for those people who hate getting on airplanes. I know I have some family that they do not fly. So taking a ship across, you get that experience, and you get there and back without ever having to step foot in an airport. And one question where was it from? Lauren is asking if there's more activities than normal. Worried my 7-year-old would be bored on such a long cruise. Is there more to do?
Yeah, so there's not necessarily different activities, but there's more opportunities to do the activities, and you'll find that works really well. So, there's more types of trivia. There's more types of, youth club games. There's, the diaper dash will be offered maybe 2 or 3 times instead of just once. So the Broadway entertainment shows, they'll have more guest performers. So you'll have a more variety of entertainment, but the onboard activities from the DCL activities team, you'll really just have more opportunities to do them, and they make sure nobody is bored. Promise you, you won't be bored.
Yes, it's more time to get to know the ship and to build those relationships, like the friendships that you get from the longer sailings. I know Disney's been doing a lot of the 3, 4, 5 nights, but the relationships that you get on 7+ night sailings cannot be replicated. I mean, they're just fantastic. Okay, Crissi, out of all of these, what is your must-do for people looking to book 2027? What do you think is the must-do one-way cruise?
I mean, okay, so if you're bucket listing, it's the Panama Canal. I do really like that sailing. April dates are very nice. Weather's nice and cool at that point. So I like the dates. I really do. For 2027, the Wish is going to Europe. So that's not a one-way cruise, but I love that we have Wish for Europe. Brand new ship in Europe. Well, for the Europe market, it's not a brand new ship, although it's still fairly new, but new ship to experience Europe on. Love that. Love the idea of doing Norwegian fjords while also having dinner at Arendelle. Like, how cool is that? So I really like that. And then for those one ways, I am obsessed with these San Juan sailings. If you haven't figured that out, San Juan is my favorite cruise port. Like, if I'm going for the day, I'm so excited. As a United States citizen, you have free admission into like 3 little national parks that are within walking distance from the cruise terminal.
So cool.
They're so cool. But even if you're not a United States citizen, the admission is like $4. It's so cheap. So it's a great opportunity. It's such an easy city to just like walk around and get local food. You don't need to plan anything. You can just get off the ship and walk and have the best day, like a better day than any like booked activity. So I really like those San Juan, and I would love to be able to spend more time in San Juan. And those one way to San Juan work really well for that. I think I would love to do the back to back and do like Fort Lauderdale to San Juan, and then San Juan to Port Canaveral. I think that would be great.
Oh, that would be incredible. Yes, I feel like
Mhm.
San Juan is one of those underrated cruise ports because Disney doesn't go there as often.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yes, there's
And
so
that
much
is
to do.
coming. The new 7 nights on the Treasure. There are some adapted itineraries that are called Eastern Caribbean that do feature San Juan for
Mm,
2027. So very
love
exciting there.
that. Oh my gosh, yes. Disney, keep the good ports coming. Well, Chrissy, thank you so much for breaking, or I guess busting some of these myths for us.
Yeah,
If you are ready to book your Disney cruise, please reach out to Chrissy. She is already booking people for summer 2027 and even beyond. Some cruise lines are open into 2028.
totally.
So
Yeah,
please reach out to her. Like we said in the beginning, her planning services are complimentary. So she is here to help you plan so that you don't have to worry, you don't have to stress. You can just focus on relaxing and enjoying your cruise vacation. Chrissy, thank you so much again, and we will see all y'all on board real soon. Bye, guys.